the 30-day microbiome makeover course. And I am joined by the one and only
Barbara
BK,
Chris.
not Burger King.
No, Barbara Chris.
All right, Barbara Chris is in the house, everybody.
Yeah.
Today is a special day because for those who began the course, the 30-day microbiome makeover course, today is day 8.
Yeah.
And so today, let's do a review. And because a lot has taken place this week, Barbara.
I know. We covered a lot in 7 days.
And the
We
feedback
did.
that I have gotten from people is, nurses, lawyers, professionals, executives, people who are in this course, they are so thankful and they feel that we've done a really good job at presenting the information, connecting it in a way where they can retain it. And they love the fact that they can go back and they can look at day one and reinforce what they learned on day one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you start to forget day 20, you can always go back to day 1 or day 2. And a lot of people are taking notes. So they're really enjoying this.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. I mean, for us too, it's been fun teaching. I've been absolutely enjoying it. And I love the feedback that we've been getting. My clients too. I have many clients who are taking the course, and they're loving like the the educational type frame or the educational feel of it, right? And they're just learning so much that they can tack onto and use to kind of enhance their weight loss and fitness journey. So it's been really cool for
Well,
sure.
as I was sharing with you before we started recording,
Yeah.
on day 6, if you don't get it, the importance of the gut microbiome, if you don't get day 6, the absence of fiber, I don't know what else to say because it says a lot. So let's do a quick review.
Yeah.
Give people an update as far as what we've accomplished,
Okay.
where we are, and then we can talk about what we do now from day 8.
Perfect.
Okay, so like on day 1, which I love, it was titled Take Inventory.
Yeah.
And taking inventory, we have a form that we made available to the people who are participating in the course. And I love that form. Thank you. We both put a lot of energy and time into creating that.
Yes.
But I have that form on my refrigerator. I have magnets holding it up. And it's really cool because every time I look at the form, I'm reminded of the things that I am eating that are plant-based foods. And then because I'm reminded of what I am eating, I then become aware of what I'm not eating.
Right.
And so, that first week with the goal was to take inventory so that you can kind of have an idea of what variety of plant-based foods you're eating. And then moving forward, which we'll recap on and reinforce, is let's break that record.
Absolutely.
So,
And I love that you shared about the form because hands down, my clients and those that are taking the class, they share with me that having that visual aid has been so helpful to just keep them thinking about that variety. Because I think we tend to kind of go towards the same things over and over. And when it's in front of you, then you realize like, yeah, let me branch out a little bit. Let me put some mindfulness into getting things and switching things up.
all right. And for
Yeah.
those, if someone was watching this and they didn't know about the form and the details of it, they would go, what are they talking about? Well,
Yeah.
we're talking about eating a variety of foods because it's very helpful. And when you don't eat a variety of foods, it can create some damage when it comes to your gut microbiome.
Yes.
But then on day 2, I love what you did with the digestive tract.
Yeah.
So thank you for that lesson because it was very well explained. You definitely went above and beyond. And
Thank you.
I love the fact that clients and people who are taking this course are now aware that the small intestine comes before the large intestine.
Yes. And how long it is.
How long it is. And the fact that when they say colon, we're not talking about the small intestine. We're talking about the large intestine. And it's
Yes.
little things like that that makes all the difference as far as a person's understanding microbiome and how foods that we consume actually like the journey that they go on. So
Right.
fascinating.
It is, and it really starts to put together. It forms a full picture, right? So it's not like these different things are kind of separate. Like, well, my food is over here, and then my kind of exercise is over here, and my overall health is over here. They start to connect all of these pieces, and they see that, well, this is why it's important to eat this way, because it affects my gut, which affects my health, which affects my energy. Like, all of these things, it creates this kind of synergy and brings it all together. It makes sense.
Well, it makes total sense, and that was
Yeah.
well done. And then on day 3, we talked a lot about prebiotics.
Yeah.
And that the feedback that I've gotten has
Hmm.
been really good because they never thought about prebiotics except for if they thought of a supplement. Many
Mm.
people don't know that the foods you eat are prebiotics. Not all, but many.
Hmm.
And by eating those foods that are prebiotics, it helps flourish part of your gut microbiome to be extremely healthy. Whereas if you didn't eat these prebiotics,
Hmm.
then you wouldn't have that beautiful, powerful, amazing microbiome.
Yeah. And speaking of prebiotics, a lot of people would mention to me too that they weren't even aware the difference between a prebiotic and a probiotic and all that, They gained clarity on that a prebiotic actually existed. So, huge.
Right. And prebiotics are very, very important.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then we moved from day 4 about prebiotics. We went to the fiber gap, or day 3
Yeah.
to the fiber gap. The
Yeah.
fiber gap is day 4. So
That was day
I'm getting
4.
I'm getting myself confused here. Which
We covered
I
a lot.
enjoy the history lesson that you provided as it pertains to the fiber gap.
Well, what in particular do you like? Did you like the story about the Kellogg brothers?
Well, I love the Kellogg brothers.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, for me, I love like etymology, right? I love the study of words. And
Mm.
so to learn that dietary fiber was given its name with clarity in 1953,
Yeah.
that was not long ago.
No, not at all. Yeah,
Yeah,
and even
so
the fact that we shared how, just the information that we see on labels now, that didn't come out until the 90s. So it's all pretty recent. A lot of this information is pretty, oh, that the ability to see this information is all pretty new.
right.
Yeah.
And hopefully people, well, I know that they got this, is to understand the importance of intact fiber
Hmm.
compared to just fiber that you see on a label. Because a
Hmm.
lot of people are buying products just because it has a good amount of fiber.
Yeah.
So their intent is in a healthy place, but
Hmm.
yet they're creating more unhealthy outcomes by taking in the wrong type of dietary fiber.
Right, just not being aware there's a difference. Again, I think that's where a lot of the feedback that I'm getting, especially on this first week, is that they're being enlightened on things they just weren't aware of, right? Like you said, I think most people have the intentions that they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to do the healthy thing for themselves, for their families, but they just don't know what they don't know.
Right. Well, that's why we have a course.
Yes, yes,
And
exactly.
then we went from fiber gap
Hmm.
to insulin resistance.
Yeah, that's such a good one.
Yes, and most people, like when they hear insulin resistance, they're not even associating that term with the gut microbiome. But
Mm.
as people discovered, the quality of the foods that you eat play a huge role in the insulin response
Hmm.
that's largely dictated by what takes place in the small intestine.
Yeah, that lesson, I mean, that lesson could have been hours long, but that information that was provided in that brief lesson is so powerful in letting people understand, like you said, the quality of what they eat makes a difference, a huge difference.
Yes. And then we went from that to the absence of. So,
Yeah.
and you know what I like about that is it's just like, okay, let's just look at the science because
Hmm.
all of what we're sharing is substantiated. So when you look at the absence of dietary fiber and you start looking up close visuals as we share with people, a cross section of, so you can see what
Right.
the healthy looks like. You can see where the
Mhm.
bacteria is feeding on some of those prebiotics, assume.
Yeah.
And when those things aren't there, this desert, and then you see that we want to be thick and dense, um, and
Mhm.
and thriving, it's like get weak and thin,
Right.
and that's all because of the absence of fiber.
Yeah. And you know, those pictures, those cross-section pictures from those studies that we shared are very powerful because you can get a glimpse of what is going on the inside. Because many times, if you can't see it, it doesn't seem so real.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, you see, yeah, you see these pictures, and you start thinking, gosh, that's possibly going on inside me, and maybe that's why I'm feeling and experiencing some of the ailments that I'm experiencing. So, yeah, it was great. That was a really good. They were all good, but I like that one because I think a lot of times people just do not realize the importance of the fiber and what they're eating.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then we, on day 7, people
Yes.
became more knowledgeable of antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I love how you put it together.
Mm-hmm.
It's very well done. I love the
It,
history.
mm-hmm.
And antibiotics is one of those things that people, I mean, I grew up watching people in my family. Every time anything was wrong, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get some antibiotics. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get some antibiotics. I'm gonna phone in some antibiotics, right?
Yeah, and that's the
Not
tough.
knowing how it's disrupting their gut microbiome.
Most people aren't aware of that at all because it's like you said, it's so easy to get, and they're very effective at what they do. I mean, to kill bacteria, but they're not understanding that what they're doing also to their gut microbiome and the you know as a consequence. And I like that we shared with our those of you taking the course that yes, there's absolutely, when there's a benefit for taking a antibiotic, because there are benefits, right? It's a life-saving
Mhm.
um, uh, medical advancement that we've had, right? But when the benefit of taking it doesn't outweigh the risk of building up resistance, then we really got to think about that and be wiser about those things, because we know now the science is showing us that it absolutely impacts our gut
Right.
microbiome.
Well, and I love that you brought in, the science that we've discovered with, and
Mm-hmm.
it was published in Cell magazine,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that after you take antibiotics, there is an ideal way of eating that will help replenish or restore some of the good bacteria that had been lost because of
Right.
antibiotics.
Right.
And I would say that 99 out of 100 people do not know that. Do
No.
not know what they learn on day 7 in this course.
Yep. I would agree. I would absolutely agree with that. And I look forward to all the feedback and more that we keep getting through from our students and those of you taking the class, because I know you enjoy it too, Robert, when we get that feedback and we get some questions too. It's just been really a cool experience.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
and now here we are on day 8.
Yep.
And the goal now, right, beginning on day 8 is to begin a new, fresh day
Mm-hmm.
of challenging yourself to bring in additional variety of foods. And
Yes.
I know that that can be difficult depending on the time of the year, right? So when it's summertime and there's a lot of like fruit that's available and the stores are like just thriving as far as all the variety that's available,
Mm-hmm.
at certain times of the year you don't have that variety.
Yeah.
So you got to really push yourself, challenge yourself, and be open to experimenting with different types of foods.
Yeah, and I think it kind of gives you that little bit of a push, right? Sometimes when you so used to eating the foods that you're normally go after when you go to the grocery store, and like you said, if now the seasons have changed and those things aren't available, so it really forces you to look at that list and see if you can find something that, okay, I'm going to try this new vegetable, this new fruit with a new recipe. And I love when my clients are sharing with me, some of the things that they've had that they've never had before. And it's been so neat to see that they're really going after it.
And then they find out that they like it.
Yeah, that's so true. They're like, I
Yeah.
never knew I'd like Brussels sprouts or whatever it might be. They're like, I these are really good. And it's like,
Well,
yeah,
I
they
mean,
really are.
like I've shared with you, I thought for years I did not like broccoli. And what I didn't was how my mom cooked it. So mom, don't take this wrong.
She's
Uh,
like,
I didn't like the way she cooked it. So when I ate it that was cooked differently, I loved it. Same as Brussels sprouts. I thought
hmm
Brussels sprouts were evil. Like I would never want a Brussels sprout. Now
yeah,
I cook them all the time.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
and it's interesting because even with me, I like carrots, but now I've been roasting them or putting them in my air fryer, and I like them so much more. They're a little bit more sweet now with that type of cooking method. It's like you said, just kind of opens you up to different ways and different foods. Then you realize, wow, this is actually we're actually adding things, right? Because a lot of times people think when you're getting healthy or trying to get healthy, the what's the word I'm looking for? Stereotype is you think that you're going to take all these things away, like you have to give up everything. And I love that this is one way that we're actually showing people how you can gain. You can gain more foods. You can gain new things to try, and get healthier.
well, there you have it. So
Yeah.
so that's the goal, Barbara. So what I did my first week, I got 31 different plant-based foods.
hmm
That wasn't my best week.
Right.
So this week I'm gonna push really hard to step it up to about 40.
Me too. Yeah. I'm in that same boat because I got 29. That's definitely not my best week either. But it was actually as good as I could do for the week. But I'm gonna go after it this coming next 7 days because man, I need to get out of the 30s too.
Wait, well, here my secret weapon, which we'll
Uh-huh.
share with those in the course, is that I am soaking my 15 bean soup. My 15 beans, they're being soaked at this very moment.
Oh,
So there
so
you
you're
go.
wow, that's a jump. Okay, so I need to find something like that. I need to maybe I'll just copy that.
Yeah, do that. And then what I'm doing is I take a green bell pepper, a red bell pepper, which is 2 more points. I
Mhm.
got minced garlic, that's another point.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna add some onions in there, which is another
Ooh.
point. So that's 19 points, and I'll eat that for a couple days.
Yeah, that sounds so good. In
Yeah,
fact,
so
there was one thing I was gonna try, and if I do it today, I'll have to take some pictures and I can share. I saw this recipe for sweet potato wedges in the air fryer, and it had a little bit of cayenne pepper. So it's kind of like a sweet, spicy recipe. It sounded so good, so I'm gonna try that because I actually didn't have sweet potatoes on my list this week, so I'm gonna add it. Or last week I didn't have it, so I'm gonna add it for this week. So yeah, it's
all
fun.
right, well, on.
Yes,
Game on. And
game
congratulations for those
on.
who are in the course. Congrats. And we're excited to continue to share with you information that
Mhm,
we know will not only help you now, but for the rest of
mhm.
your life.
Absolutely. I'm loving it, and I'm loving sharing our knowledge and getting the feedback and just this whole experience. So I'm definitely looking forward to this next 7 days for sure.
All right. So until the next one, are we out?
We're out, signing off.